start our axolotls, we're going to start with the white belly. We're going to start with our slip knot, which you can find more information about as well as the stitches in the crochet guide. Put the slip knot around your hook and tighten. Then we're going to do 2 chains by pulling the yarn through the loops. Here I have 2 chains, one by my hook and one by the slip knot. You're going to insert your hook into the chain by the slip knot and you're going to make 6 single crochets. It will start to turn on itself and create a small circle. Alright, so we have 6 stitches, 6 single crochets. I'm going to add my stitch marker. I'm going to do it in the last stitch that I made. I'm going through both loops because that's both parts of the stitch. Now we're going to do 6 increases. An increase is simply 2 single crochets in the same spot. The first stitch might be a little difficult. You might have to pull it apart a little bit with your fingers or just stick your hook in a little tighter. And there's 1 single crochet, and in the same hole I'm going to do another single crochet. You're going to complete this 5 more times around until you have a total of 12 stitches. As you can see, for the last stitch, I took out the stitch marker, made my increase, and then I'm going to put the stitch marker back in. Now you should make sure you have 12 stitches all the way around. For the next round, we're going to do 1 increase, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. We're going to continue this pattern for a total of 6 times, so you have 18 stitches at the end. For our very last stitch, we're going to do a slip knot. So we're going to pull it through and pull it through again. Excuse me, it's called a slip stitch, not a slip knot. But now you see you have a perfectly round circle. You're going to make a nice long tail with your yarn. We'll use this for sewing, so we want to make sure we have enough room. Cut it off, and then you're going to pull your hook so that you pull that string all the way through. And now you have a nice white belly. For the top gills, you're going to start with your slip knot and chain 2, just like you started the white belly. You're going to do 6 single crochets in the first stitch, the first chain. Now you see you have our small circle, and that's all we're going to do. You're going to make 6 in your secondary color and 2 in your base color. To start the body, we're going to start the same way we've been starting everything, by making a slip knot, chain 2, and then 6 single crochets in the chain closest to the slip knot, the second chain from your hook. I'm adding my stitch marker, and now we're going to do 6 increases, which are 2 single crochets into each stitch. At the end, you should have 12 stitches total. For the next round, you're going to do 1 increase and then 1 single crochet. You're going to repeat this a total of 6 times for a total of 18 stitches. The next is 1 increase, 2 single crochets. So there's our increase, and then 1 single crochet, and then another single crochet. And you'll repeat this around for 24 stitches. This is our last row of increase. So we're going to do 1 increase, and then 3 single crochet. You should have 30 stitches at the end. Alright, now that we're finished making our piece as wide as it will be, we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. We're going to do this for a total of 10 rows. You'll start to see the body take form. As you can see, we have this cylinder looking thing. We have our top closed, and that's our bottom we're still working on. We're going to take a moment here and we're going to sew on all of our pieces. We're going to start with the belly. You're going to take, I like to trim the middle piece just so it doesn't get in the way, but you can always tuck it in if you prefer. I'm going to take my tapestry needle and put my white tail through it. I'm going to hold my piece down. I have it pretty close to the bottom because I want to make sure I have room for the eyes and the smile. And you're going to go in and out, up and down through the stitches. There's about 100 ways to sew on pieces. This is technically I personally use. If I find it necessary, I'll go around a second time just to make sure I get every little gap, but it's up to you, or if you have a different method you'd like to use. I went up and down throughout the whole thing, and to end it, I'm going to make sure my tail's in the back, and then you just pull out your needle. One of the cool parts about working on small stuffed animals is that you could just put all your tails in the middle and you don't have to worry about weaving them in. To start with the eyes, we're going to take our black eye pieces and we're going to place them where we think that we want the eyeballs. We're not putting the backs on quite yet, so it's okay if we change our mind and we want to readjust it once we have the smile on. Take your black yarn and put it through your tapestry needle. The yarn is for both pieces, and there should be plenty. If you want to cut off a piece, you can do that, but it's up to you. Start from the back and pull through. Make sure you leave a few inches at the end just so it doesn't slide out. And then you're going to go back down. These 2 points are the 2 sides of the smile. You're going to go a stitch or 2 lower from the back and insert out. You're going to pull, and then you're going to scoop the middle point of the straight line down. If you want it more round, you won't pull as tight, but I like mine more of a V, so I'm going to pull pretty tight. You can kind of readjust it, and this is a good part to make sure that you like where the eyeballs are and that they're nice and even on your piece. I'm going to take the tan back pieces. These are your back washers for the eyes. And you're going to put it on the piece and you're going to push hard. You should hear a small click, and once they're in, they should not be able to come out. Now we're going to start sewing on the gills and the arms. Just as with the belly, there's about 100 different ways to sew this on. This is the technique I use, but you can find whatever works for you as long as your pieces stay solid on there. Put your piece through your tapestry needle. And then I kind of like to hold it where I want it to go. And then pull through. And then just like the belly, you're going to go up and down, making sure you get through the stitches, go through the middle. You want to make sure it's nice and secure. I go back and forth a few times just to make sure it's going to stay on and it's not going to wiggle too much. Right at the end there, I was just tightening it just to make sure it's nice. That's my other tail from the middle, and I'm just going to stick that down as well. If you want to do a few extra stitches on it, you can, but I'm okay with it right now, so I'm going to pull all the way through. You're going to continue the same process for the 5 other gills and the arms and on both sides. I want to take a moment here just to show that my gills are not even, and that's a cool part about crocheting, is that you'll learn and you'll do things a little differently each time. I'm okay with it being a little wonky because I think it looks more fun. Now that I have all my pieces on, put my hook back in there and tighten it, and then I'm going to stick all of those tails in it, and it'll act as extra stuffing. There he is, you can see all the little pieces assembled on there. Now we're going to start decreasing. To decrease, you're going to insert your hook into the first stitch, tighten it a bit, yarn over and pull through so you have 2 loops on your hook, and then insert into the next stitch and pull through so you have 3 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, and then pull through all 3 at the same time. And then you're going to single crochet 3 times. Here's another decrease, insert, pull through, insert, pull through, and then pull through all 3. After you finish that round, the next round is going to be 1 decrease, 2 single crochet. Here's our decrease, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets, and we're going to continue this around for a total of 6 times. Now we're going to take a moment and we're going to add our stuffing. The trick to stuffing is that we don't want to insert a big blob. We want to pull it apart into smaller sections and then insert it one at a time so it creates a fluffier and rounder look. Here I am trying to make sure it's nice and round. When you're finished with that, you can put your stitch marker back on if it slipped out during the process, and you're going to do 1 decrease, 1 single crochet around. For our last row of decreases, we're going to decrease 6 times. If your stitch marker gets in the way here, you can take it out and just count in your head. Now we should have about 6 stitches left. It's okay if it's not quite there. Our decreases sometimes get a little tight. I cut the yarn and pulled through, and then you're going to put that on your tapestry needle. As you can see, my yarn kind of split, but that's okay, we're almost finished. We're going to do a cinch closure, so we're going to go around the post and go in and out, in and out. I do this about 3 times. Then you're going to pull nice and tight, and then I like to add a knot right at the end. It just makes me feel like it's a little bit more secure. And you're going to insert your needle very close to where you just were, and you're going to poke it out anywhere in the back or anywhere that's blue. I flatten it out a little bit. Then you'll take your scissors and trim it right at the base. If it sticks out a little bit, that's okay. You can kind of rub it in, or if you need to, use your scissors or the tapestry needle to poke it back in. But as you can see, you finish your axolotl. You'll repeat the same things for the pink one. He's nice and fluffy and nice and round. If you need to reshape him, you can do that.